Welcome to Watch Symposium. All right, here I am in Tokyo, right outside of Daimaru. There's an AD in Daimaru, and you can see the line. Now, of course, everybody's not lined up for the AD, but look at this line right here, and then behind me. It opens in 5 minutes at 10 o'clock, so some of these people are certainly here to hit the authorized dealer. Will it do them any good? I doubt it, but I'm going to try. I'm not getting in line, so I guess I'm going to miss out on my white dial Daytona.
Here's a Datejust 41 with a gray dial. It's got an oyster bracelet, white gold fluted bezel. Speaking of white gold, this is all white gold, bezel, bracelet, case, everything. This is a day date with a gradient blue diamond dial.
All right, so here's Jason, and Jason, earlier I made a video about some 2021 Rolex models. Now, just to be fair, Jason's not quite as much of a Rolex guy as I am. Would you say that?
Oh, yeah.
He's more into like gold and diamonds, but he does have a Rolex. What, do you have your Rolex on today?
Yeah, I wore it
All
today.
right.
There you go.
Yeah, beautiful watch.
This is the watch that I think killed my desire for the end-of-the-run blue dial turnograph, but not my appreciation of it. Now, it looks great on Jason. Now, this two-tone Sea Dweller is what he wants to upgrade to, and I think it would be an upgrade. I think it would fit him better. The Yachtmaster's 40 millimeters, this is 43, and it's going to go a lot better with that gold jewelry that he likes to wear. The Yachtmaster being platinum and silver just kind of clashes with that. But let him know what you think. Drop a comment in the comment section.
I'll go ahead and ask you, what do you think is the most overhyped Rolex watch of 2021?
Tiffany dial, oyster professional.
There you go. All right. That's exactly the one
nice, but I wouldn't buy it.
That's exactly the one I picked. We're headed to Daimaru. Are you ready to get your Daytona? All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Now, this is the kind of piece you find at the ADs here. In fact, you see more Datejust than day dates, I think, but that bezel is really characteristic of most of the watches you can find at the authorized dealer. I'm not much for diamonds on the bezel at all, but I like the rubies at the 12, 3, 6, and 9. This is an older watch with tritium on the hands. It's a W serial from 1995. Here's a champagne dial, two-tone Datejust with papers. This is an R serial from the late 80s. Here's a later version with a diamond dial. This is from 93, 94. This has sapphire crystal, while the previous one had an acrylic crystal.
All right, so Daimaru, we just missed the Daytonas. I could feel it. If we'd only gotten there 2 minutes earlier. All right, so they had all the display models, and Jason tried on a Pearl Master. Now, I couldn't take any footage of the Pearl Master, but
Solid gold.
right, it was solid yellow gold. It had like sort of a rainbow bezel.
Sapphire rainbow.
Is that what it was? Okay. I mean, it was kind of pretty in an over-the-top way, but at the same time, it looked sort of effeminate.
Yeah, it looked kind of, effeminate.
Yeah. It was a 39 millimeter watch. Looked a little small.
I want a two-tone
Right.
Sea Dweller. Two-tone Sea Dweller.
That's what he asked for, but yeah, this Pearl Master looked a little small on his wrist. Now, what was really surprising is I've never noticed the Pearl Master bracelet. They sort of have their own bracelet. Not a fan of it. Okay, the Jubilee is very comfortable. Again, looks a little effeminate. The Oyster looks awesome, rugged, comfortable. Just really an iconic bracelet. Now, this Pearl Master bracelet looked kind of like a Jubilee. Kind of reminded me, honestly, of Vostok bracelet. And the weirdest part about it
looked like a Vostok bracelet.
it
You're right.
didn't taper. I mean, to me, that is the sign of a cheap watch, when the bracelet doesn't taper. And here, this one didn't taper. Now, of course, it's a solid gold watch, over-the-top Rolex, so nobody's going to mistake it for a cheap watch, but that lack of taper was really weird, in my opinion. The best thing that I saw, if you had to get a watch there today, I probably would have gone with a diamond dial two-tone 36 millimeter Datejust. They had those with the dial that says like Rolex on it. A little bit gaudy, a little bit over the top, but if I had to buy a watch there today, that's probably what it would have been. And I asked the staff about this rumor about the OP41 or 36 turquoise dial being discontinued. She says she thinks it's a rumor, all right? And so there we go. Anything else we learned?
Staff was beautiful.
Yeah, I know, man. He's been hitting on every woman we've seen. He's been talking about her
They
looks and
appreciate it too. They like it.
trying to get numbers and stuff. And hey, yeah, I think if you can get one of these girls in the bed, maybe you can get a
My wife will
Rolex
kill me though.
connection. Yeah, well, hey, just tell her it's for the
Greater good.
it's for the retail buying you can do after the fact, right?
You're right.
All right, guys. So off to another AD. We'll see what we see.
One of my favorite gold pieces, because it looks like a steel piece, a beautiful sub. I much prefer it to the Cermet or just a regular sub because of that blue. It really gives it something. The question is it better than the previous generation?
All right, so we went to Takashi Maya, and I talked with a sales rep that I like a lot there, and I didn't even notice what they had in the case, to be honest. I mean, what did they have?
Two-tone Datejust with diamond dial and diamond bezel.
All right, 36 millimeter?
36 millimeter.
Okay, all right, no surprise there. They did have display models. Now, somebody said recently in one of my videos in the comment section that Rolex has a rule that they're like, I guess Rolex Geneva requires their ADs to be able to show pieces. And so this commenter was saying, so they have all the pieces in the back. Well, maybe not here in Japan, because that explains the display models, because they're all there in front of your face. Now, one thing I've never seen display model wise is the Daytona.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I've never seen a Daytona on display. It's always the dive watches, the GMTs, the subs, the Sea Dwellers. That's it. It's kind of interesting. On to more ADs, going to Genza now.
All right, well, let's answer that question. Is the new version better than the old? That's a tough question. You know, I think when it comes to that blue, I think less is more. I feel the same way about the blue Pelagos. It's just too much blue. So I think I like the one on the left, and of course you get all those upgrades.
What is this called? Lexia? And wow, no watches. No, they had, okay, so as far as the men's watches go, they had like precious metal diamond dial something. I'm going to put a image here so you can see, but it's almost like a web of diamonds kind of going into the dial. That is the only thing that they had. They had cases and cases of nothing. It was weird. It was like people were coming in and walking through, and I said, like, where are the watches? And just like 4 of them were on a display on the wall. Nothing in the cases whatsoever. I mean, I've seen droughts and poor selection, but I've never seen anything like this. And the kind of watches that they had, really, they look almost like women's watches, to be honest. But when asked for men's watches, it's where the guy pointed me.
Let's take a look at some Yachtmasters. Here's the slate dial with the light blue accents. And then here's the platinum dial, the 5-digit discontinued dial. I think this is really special and underappreciated, but it just doesn't pop like the blue dial or even the slate dial. Here's a 2-tone 5-digit Yachtmaster, really competitively priced. If you like Yachtmasters in 2-tone, this would be a good buy. And all these up top are the contemporary modern Yachtmasters with the 3-2 movement, and the Yachtmaster 2 with a 10-minute countdown timer.
All right, guys, so stopped by Tudor behind me, and if you're curious, no GMT, the FXD, the new watch is not available. That's sold out. The Black Bay 58, blue and black, both are sold out. And the chronographs are sold out as well. And it's interesting because it's sort of like, I feel like a non-Rolex person must feel when they hear Rolex people talk about the unavailability of Rolex watches. Like, who cares, right? Here I am going in there and asking about these watches, and I don't really care. Even if they brought one from the back, I'd be like, oh, okay, all right, see ya. So I think I'm kind of past Tudor, aside from my Hydronauts and my Iconaut. And actually, Jason, I think, feels the same way. I mean, you sold your What was that? A double date?
Double date, yeah.
Right.
I sold it. My son didn't like it. I was going to give it to my son, and he didn't like it. He told me he didn't like it.
All right, so I'll put a link in the description of a video that I made with Jason, and you can see that double date. All right, but it's gone. All right, so we're not Tudor guys anymore. Well, at least not modern Tudor guys.
I like Richard Mille.
There you go. All right.
No, I can't.
Hide your knots, Richard Mille, Iconauts. We all have our faults.
Here's a steel Jubilee braceleted Sky Dweller and a two-tone version. And even on the gray market, you don't see a lot of Sky Dwellers. They're pretty rare, pretty special. You see a lot more Daytonas, so the Sky Dweller production numbers must be considerably lower. Here's a black dial, and here's a previous generation. This is a P serial. Hard to believe that just 20 years ago they were using the Zenith movement. Well, 22 years ago, P serials are from 2000, but still, that's pretty recent to be using a Zenith movement. Depending on how faded you think those subdials are, this could be a Patrizi dial. In the window of this shop, they had this two-tone diamond dial Datejust. This was probably the best thing they had.
All right, so Genza, the second shop. Now, before when I went to the shop, it was probably like a year or even 2 years ago. Man, they were so rude. I hated them. And so I walked in and I was like, maybe I won't even give him my letter. But Jason was talking to a really nice guy. And I've got a couple letters printed up, and I'm going to have to throw them away if I don't use them because they have the date and, I sign them and everything. So I have to use them today. And so I decided to give the guy the letter. And, the selection there, they actually had men's watches. They had a couple Cellinis, and probably the best thing that they had, if I was, forced to buy a watch, it would have been the 36 millimeter two-tone rose gold Datejust. They had one on an oyster bracelet, one on a Jubilee bracelet without diamonds on the bezel, but diamonds on the dial, diamonds on the indices with mother of pearl dial. Not bad. Everything else had diamonds all on the bezel.
The two-tone 36 millimeter Explorer. I don't understand this watch. It's not something I think we needed. It's certainly not something we asked for. Is this what we got for the 50th anniversary of the Explorer 2? It's going for a premium. Do you guys like it? Here's the modern Explorer, the return to the 36 millimeter case size. You can see the cornet at the 6. What I'm surprised about is that the 39 millimeter versions aren't going for that much of a premium. It's like people don't miss it, even though it's a discontinued end of an era model. And a modern blue dial Yachtmaster. I'm really drilling you guys with the Yachtmasters today. Here's the last AD we hit. I think 5 in one day is enough. And they had some display models, and I was able to get some covert footage with the new prices. This is panic filming here, and it's about all I could do. This was in the front window, and it was probably one of the best pieces in the shop, a diamond dial day date.
All right, guys, so we hit the third and final shop in Genza. And what did they have? Well, the best thing that they had, you're looking at right here, it was a day date and diamonds, but on the dial. And they had 3 Cellinis and, of course, the two-tone diamond dial, diamond bezel Datejusts. And, everybody was pretty nice there.
Yeah, one of the sales girls, she was flirting with me. And,
all right.
I think she was flirting with me. And then when I mentioned that she was a little too tall for me, she said, "Oh, by the way, I'm wearing heels today." And then she lowered herself to my height and said, "This is my actual height." And I said, "Well, we're kind of matched then." And she smiled. And then when I asked her about the Sea Dweller, she made me feel like, she gave me her card and she told me to call her. So you never know.
All right, so we got a girlfriend and a Sea Dweller, I think. We'll see. We'll have to wait. All right, man.
I hope so.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'd rather hear about the girl than the watch. That could be
my
some
wife
interesting.
Will kill me, man.
Yeah. Well, it's for the Sea Dweller.
Yes.
It's for the Sea Dweller via the pillow. All right, guys. No surprise. Didn't find much today, but still kind of fun to, walk around the city, check out what Rolex has or doesn't have, talk to some salespeople, and hope you enjoyed coming along. It'd be nice if had some trophy to show for it, but
Remember, Austin, mask up.
I will.
All right.
But, you know, we got what we expected. Let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.